I'm about to make a very big commitment in my life. Things are going to be different.
What, you found your wallet then?
I'm having to stick the car in the paper.
No one's going to buy it.
You might as well wrap it, paper.
I'm going to get an estate car.
Nice sign, Norman, no mates in the front.
You just know when the time is right. I want to just go for it.
But what's the reason, man?
Because I love her.
A nice one.
Good evening. Now, a brief look at the day's Scottish news.
A detective. He falls for the wrong woman. What happens? She kills him.
Lust and Betrayal in Basic Instinct, Saturday at 10 on Scottish. Now in Scottish, the programme which looks at the funny side of Scottish football. A game of two halves.
Oh!
Good evening and welcome to yet another round of A Game of Two Halves, the programme that's done for Scottish football what Denis Nielsen did for home cooking. Tonight, joining our resident captains, the razor-sharp Tony Roper and the legendary Denis Law. What foresight of Mrs. Law to christen her son Legendary. In Tony's team, a man who curbed his champagne drinking habits by returning to play for his first love, Celtic, and who revolutionised psychotherapy by proving you can remove the chip over someone's shoulder. It's Charlie Nicholl. And joining the lawman, a fellow ex-Manchester United stalwart who's distinguished himself not only as a great Rangers player, but has been described as a good prod. A man whose best moment at Ibrox was probably when Paul McStay missed a penalty as Raith Rovers won the League Cup. Yes, it's Jimmy Nicholl. But, right away for 2 points, Charlie, is there such a thing as a good prod?
No, I met one day, that was my mother, and then she changed, so she gets a vote.
2 points to Charlie Nicholl. Yes. You taking that, Jimmy?
For now, yes. For now, yes.
Well, let's kick off with another look back into the annals of the beautiful game. Gentlemen, look at these great sporting moments that some would rather we'd lost. Tell me what's going on and prepare yourselves for some penetrating questions. So, Denis and Jimmy, it's you to go first. A Falkirk training session, and now it gets interesting.
Oh, I can see that, yes.
Oh, nice one.
I can see that.
Oh, dear.
Okay, well, Denis and Jimmy, for 2 points, you're bound to recognise him. Who was it?
Well, there's Big John Hughes, and it looks to me as though he was telling Morris Johnson his tea was ready and he's having eaten 2 beds.
2 points. Maybe a bonus point there because you did say the Big John Hughes.
Well, I believe it's 12 inches, but he doesn't usually use it as a rule, you know.
Another bonus point there. Jimmy, anyone else is well endowed in the Premier League right now?
Charlie's looking at you.
No, we're not talking about noses here, are we? Where the hell, Charlie, Nick?
We'll leave it at that. Jimmy and Denis, 3 points. Well, Tony and Charlie, it's time for you now to face the bare facts. Give us your comments on this.
Play for safety, boys.
70,000 Scotsmen.
Oh, yes. And there's the caption of the moment. Made an arse here.
Willie Donaghy has never scored for Scotland.
No, he has now. It's pure rough, eh? And here's one we've worked at the training. Yep.
About a double Dutch here.
We are talking own goals.
Yeah. Another one. Ah, yeah. That's what happened in training as well, didn't it, Davey?
12 minutes later,
What's this?
Roddy again involved.
He's
His
right,
cross
he's
met
in the
by the
middle.
perfect
He's on.
diving header from Neil Oliver for a classic own goal.
And never mind, Dundee United are signing you next week.
There was nowhere to hide for poor Oliver, who just lay stunned, miserable and alone on the ground.
It wasn't as good as their one, was it?
No,
They got a better one.
I think they did. Own goals. Who scored the Dundee United own goals?
Van der Hoorn and Bowman.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
2 points to Tony and Charlie. 2 points for that. For you, Charlie, you've got to be honest with me. How many own goals have you scored in your career?
I can't count own goals, never mind my own goals. Never been close. I've never been that far back, Jim.
So you're saying you've scored no own goals?
No own goals so far.
Do we believe him?
I do.
Mixed feeling, but we'll give you 1 point for that, Charlie. But with these two, Denis and Jimmy, sprinting into the lead by 5 points to 4, then faster than Ian Durant can get a kebab in a night out, let's have a look at what some of the great game's brightest have had to say. The quotes round. What you have to do is tell me who said what about whom. So Charlie, you're up first. Who said this? I don't like you two, that's rebel music, Southern Irish, and Simple Minds. I found out that Jim Kerr was a Celtic supporter, so all my Simple Minds tapes, they went out the window. Was it Mo Johnston, Graham Souness, very nice person, or Terry Butcher?
It's got to be someone who's from England to make a statement like that, and it can only be Mo Butcher.
It was Terry Butcher, but I'll give you a bonus point. 3 points, Charlie. Jimmy, for you. Jimmy, who said this? Jimmy Nicholl. On a boys' night out, the most I'll have is 7 or 8 pints of lager. That to me isn't being drunk. Was it George Best, Duncan Ferguson, or Charlie Nicholas?
I don't drink lager, Dennis.
No. I'll say Charlie Nick. He didn't know where to have 8 pints of lager or a gallon of lager. so I'll say Charlie Nicholas.
Let me tell you, Charlie Nicholas is the right answer. When did you say that? When did you actually say that?
I said that when you were on the bell at Cafe City.
Good shout.
Charlie.
Tony, for you?
Yeah.
Here it is. I've given my life to Celtic. What more can you give? Was it Billy McNeill, Jock Stein, or Kevin Kelly?
Well, Billy McNeill and Jock Stein gave Celtic trophies, whereas, of course, Kevin Kelly sold them trophies. And during the good years, he probably made a lot of money, but he's lost it all in the last 6 or 7 years, so I'll probably go Kevin Kelly just because it's you that's asking the questions. And you'll want a dig.
I'll give you 2 points plus a bonus point, Tony. Kevin Kelly is the right answer. Denis, for you. Denis Law. I was on the boat to Campbelltown at the time, and even though I was listening to it on the radio, I was convinced the third goal had not crossed the line. England are the first country to win the World Cup 2-2. It was a black day.
Nice one.
Was it Graham Souness, very nice person, Billy Bremner, or Alex Salmond?
Well, to be fair, I mean, I was on the golf course. I didn't see the game either. And I didn't believe the scoreline. Billy Bremner, I don't know. I think it's, if you mention on a boat, it could have been wee Jimmy Johnson. He wasn't included. I would say Salmond. I would think that he would be the guy who would be on the...
Alex Salmond is the correct answer, Dennis. Well done. But with Tony and Charlie romping into an astonishing 10-9 lead, time now for a round respectfully dedicated to one of the greats of commentary position. Arthur Montford. Now, no budding commentator can get anywhere unless they have studied the stramashes, sensations and melees Arthur made his own. So now, students of the lip mic, we've chosen as exam questions some of the best bits of Arthur. First, you get your chance. When the commentary stops, you describe the action in your own way, and then we'll reveal the words of the great master. So, Tony and Charlie, it's first for you. Sing along at Arthur. But Tony, I would like you to do it maybe in a Peter O'Sullivan tone. Who? The great racing commentator guru.
Is he the English one or the Irish one?
He was the English one.
Okay.
Peter O'Sullivan.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Have we started now? And they're off at Fairhill. And it's Weefley on the left, yes, he's Weefley on the stand side, he's going down, but he doesn't seem to have a jockey. No, and his jockey's kicked him. And Weefley's, he's fell at the first, it looks like a broken leg for Weefley. And there'll be a Stewards inquiry here. Yes, Stewards inquiry, here we go. And the crowd wait with bated breath as Weefley's out of the race. He'll probably retire to swan off at the Parkhead Executive Club. And we're off again, and it's Harry Ragg up the field. He's going for helpful leather, it's Harry Ragg.
Peter's just been on the phone to say that was great, and that's 2 points to Tony and Charlie. Now, let's see what the great man Arthur Montford did say on that famous day.
Johnston now for Celtic on the left. A bad tackle by Glavin. Bad tackle by Glavin on Johnston. Very fortunate not to be booked for that. And Celtic down to 12 men as Murdoch locked up.
No wonder they won all those trophies. They started with 13 men right from the beginning.
Do you remember that, Charlie? Celtic down to 12 men.
I remember it well. It never helped us to get scuffed 4-1 again.
I think so. Okay, Jimmy and Dennis, your piece of Sing Along Arthur.
This has got to be a classic. Hey, no look here. No, you're doing it. All right.
Chipping across.
Right, Jimmy, what's he saying at this stage?
We'll look at this here, because a fella get brought down outside the box. Could it be a free kick? It's either a free kick, could be a throw-in,
could be a
penalty kick, could be a pass back. Or as Arthur saying at this particular time,
obviously.
we're in, no, he said, is that the one he said we're in the third and final quarter of this game? Did I know?
Jimmy, pretty good. I tell you what, before I award points at this stage, let's hear what the great man did say on that day.
Chipping across. Headed down by Hood. Raised there with Hay. And if that's a free kick, it must be very close to a penalty. But it's a goal.
I have to say, Jimmy, you hadn't seen that before. I can vouch for that. You were pretty much bang on with that. We'll give you 3 points for that.
This has nothing to do, of course, with the fact that Jimmy played with Rangers and all that, Derek. No?
Well, time for a quick pie break, but join us in the second half, and we'll see if Denis and Jimmy can keep on making the same kind of comeback that Eamon Bannon's hairline could never do, and see what happened next in this halftime teaser.
Carrigan to take it.
half and half plan. It means you can drive away a brand new car, but only pay for half of it. Then in 2 years, you simply pay for the other half. Or uniquely, if you don't want to keep the car, you can just give it back. So, there are no monthly repayments, no interest charges. The Ford half and half plan at your Scottish Ford dealer. We don't do things by halves.
Are you craving a really big, really satisfying sandwich? Do you find that some are a bit of a letdown? However, Greg's Big Softies are made fresh in your local Greg's shop every day and packed with a range of big, tasty fillings. Great value from only 99p. Get stuck into the great taste of Greg's.
You got one more.
Welcome back. Well, we left you with action from Celtic and Thistle at Parkhead. Let's roll the tape and see what happened next.
Gallagher to take it. Whiston moving in. Latchford misses it. The ball's in the net and it's a goal. An incredible goal by Danny Kelleher, who can hardly believe it.
Peter Latchford, Charlie.
Yeah, the cat he was renowned for calling, not mine. He was famous for that.
Well, with Tony and Charlie having that look Celtic fans get at Christmas, they know they'll be runners-up. It's time for the odd one out round. 4 people or objects connected to the game. One stands out like Duncan Ferguson at Mass, and that's the one the teams have to pick, the odd one out. So Charlie, for you, Dougie Arnott, Ian Jess, Fraser Wishart, or a chip?
I've got to go for the chip.
Yeah.
Basically because it cost me a lot of money.
I'm afraid so. A chip is the right answer, Charlie. All the others were pinched for nothing. Pinching that chip cost you £1,300 in compensation. Were you really fined £1,300?
I was really fined £1,300, but I did an advert for Walker's Crisp later, so I managed to get it back.
A bonus point for Charlie Nicholl. 3 points to you, Charlie. Jimmy, for you, which is the odd one out and why? The Reverend Ian Paisley, a man you probably know quite well, Pastor Jack Glass, Jimmy Nicholl, or the Pope? The odd one out and why, would you say, Jimmy?
Jimmy. I'm a peace-loving man. The Pope, because the other 3 of us are related.
I'll give you one for that. It's actually yourself, because you were a footballer. All the others are clergymen, as you well know.
Was there a difference?
Tony, for you, the Birmingham 6, the Guildford 4, Paddy Meehan, or the Celtic Board? Which one and why the odd one out?
Birmingham 6, 4, probably. Well, there's only one of Paddy Meehan, so you would probably go for him, but knowing your biased comments, probably the Celtic Board. Why? I don't know, but just I'll lay it down to your biased comments. The Celtic Board.
I'll give you the Celtic Board. All the others were found innocent in a court of law.
Yeah.
2 points for Tony, 2 points. And for you, Dennis, which is the odd one out and why? Influenza, rabies, herpes, or Jim Farry?
It has to be Jim, because the others have got an antidote for them. You ain't got an antidote for them.
Dennis, you're bang. I'll give you 3 for that. It is
Thank
Jim
you.
Farry. All the others are communicable.
Oh, is that? Oh, I'm glad you said it.
Well, at the end of that round, it's Tony on 17 points, Dennis on 16 points.
I don't know.
that shock scoreline could change in this, the headlines round. Teams, we've turned to the back page of yesterday's newspapers to see how the fans with typewriters have described the great game. What the teams have to do is tell me what incidents they're referring to. So for you, Charlie, here's your headline. Now Celtic must adopt Roy Aitken. Celtic must adopt Roy Aitken.
Thinking back, it must be something to do with a European tie, I think. They asked to get permission from Roy. I think he was still at school. And I think they had to adopt him in some strange contract.
Charlie, Celtic had to adopt Aitken so as not to contravene the child labour laws of East Germany when the team went on tour. You're right on with that one. 2 points. Jimmy, to you. This is your headline, Jimmy. Wraith roll out the lino. Wraith roll out the lino. What could that mean?
Well, wasn't a time that Gordon Dale had the flu and they were using the lino as a Vic inhaler? No. No, is that
I should get a point for that anyway. That's a good answer.
I'm going to give you 1 point for that because I know Gordon Dalziel will enjoy that comment. It was a headline after Celtic's unbeaten record was broken by Rovers, suggesting they couldn't afford red carpets, so they rolled out the lino. But I mean, you guys are in the big time now, aren't you? You could afford red carpet
yeah, but
now.
no, it changed it to a blue carpet.
Always honest, and that definitely merits another point. Well done, Jimmy. Tony, for you. Tony, I raise my hat to the Tynecastle toddlers.
I've no idea, I don't know. Toddlers, daddy men, I don't know.
Well, it is Hearts.
Is it? Oh, is it daddy men then? Oh, that's it then. I rest my case with the Tynecastle daddy men.
There is a headline praising Hearts' youth policy in the early 50s. But, I mean, we were talking toddlers, we were talking Hearts youngsters. I'll give you 1 point for that.
Thank you very much, thank you.
And Dennis, for you. Your headline, Dennis, Rough is the best in the world. Rough is the best in the world.
Is that by Alan Ruff? Did he write the headline?
He didn't write it.
He didn't write it himself.
He was as shocked as everyone else when he heard it.
No, but it is about him. And I do remember, I mean, it wasn't the 78 World Cup, but it was prior to that in South America when they went for, I think they had a little tour of Argentina around there. And I think the manager, I can't remember the manager at the time, but he said that Ruff was the best.
Ali McLeod?
Ali McLeod.
You're right. I'll give you 2 points for that, Dennis. You're right.
Thank you.
Yep, you were right with that, Dennis, but still, Tony forges ahead, 21 points to 19. So, with Dennis and Jimmy looking like Rangers in Europe, one-round wonders, a last chance to redeem the situation with our true or false round. Our parka-clad, pimply-faced researchers have been racking their brains for football trivia, and what the teams have to do, spookily enough, is tell me whether these statements are true or false. So, Tony and Charlie, it's you to start. So, true or false? The FA Cup final has been refereed by a Mr. Bastard. True or false?
True.
True.
2 points. Lou Macari was a crap player. True or false?
And a manager.
I'll give you 10 bonus points for that one, Charlie. True or false? A crap player?
Yes, he liked gambling, craps.
Yes.
2 points. It's actually false. He played roulette. True or false? Jack Charlton and Paul Gascoigne have both had racehorses named after them. True or false?
False.
It's true, I'm afraid. True or false? Dave McPherson and Anton Rogan have both had donkeys named after them.
Well, I can see one of them getting a donkey name. I'm not saying which particular one, but true in one case and false in the other.
You've got me with that, but I'll give you 3 points for that. I like that one, Tony.
Ingenuity.
True or false? Burl Ives was approached to play the lead role in the life and times of Derek Johnson.
It's got to be true.
It's actually false, but let's say it's true.
Yeah.
2 points.
Should be true.
And your last question. True or false? Sean Connery was offered terms by Manchester United. True or false?
True.
True, 2 points.
Yeah.
Well done. 18 points for that one. Well done. Okay. Now you've got to win this.
No. I think 18 points is only 6 questions.
Oh, well, there was a whole lot of points awarded there. Now you could do the same, Dennis. You could do the same. So, true or false? Ernest Hemingway based his novel on The Old Man and the Sea on the life and times of Jimmy Johnston. True or false?
It's got to be true.
Well, it's actually false, but let's say that's true as well. So 2 points.
I was there when he went out on the boat.
You were, weren't you?
I was, yes. Called him back, but he had no oars. Couldn't come back.
True or false? Scottish football is run by a former rugby player. True or false?
Gotta be true.
True, it is Jim Farry. True or false? In 1933, Rangers wore Nazi armbands while playing on tour in Germany. True or false?
No, I'm not having that.
Yeah, you're right, it's false. 2 points. In 1933, England players gave Nazi salutes when they played Germany. True or false?
Definitely. I can remember that. That is definitely happened, yeah.
True or false? Wraith Rovers were shipwrecked on their way to tour the Canary Islands. True or false?
Definitely true. 1930 or something.
You're right. You're right. It's
6
true.
months before I got the job.
2 points, Jimmy. And your final one. When referee Tiny Wharton retired, he became a commentator on bowls. True or false?
That has got to be true.
You came back pretty well. You got 12 points there, but I have to say, Tony has won tonight 41 points to 31.
How did you get 41 points to 31?
Well, the game's
I don't know.
I mean, the game's a fiddle.
The decision is final. I was talking to Bamber Gascoigne, and that's what he says. The decision is final. So the laurel wreath of victory this week goes to Tony and Charlie. Well done, so what about Denis and Jimmy? For Denis and Jimmy, it's that Hearts semi-final appearance for them. But well done to them anyway. Thanks to everyone for taking part. They think it's all over. It is now. Good night.
Hours.